Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Trek Air Rush Bike Tire Inflator. The Trek Air Rush is one of the latest portable bike tire inflators and Trek's first electric bike pump. Although Trek is a little bit late to the market, which is quite crowded admittedly, they've combined their expertise and worldwide reach to refine and add new features to this pump. Packaging-wise, really simple. You have a glossy representation of the pump on the front, the white and black graphics that we know from Trek, a description of what's included, additional specs and features on the other side. I'll go ahead and open this up and we'll go over the full specs. Retail price on this is $100, which is actually very competitive. You have a 120 PSI limit, which should cover just about any type of bike tire. You also have a nice color screen, as well as a LiPo battery that's enough to fill up an empty tire that's 728 3 times up to 75 PSI. It's also USB Type-C rechargeable, so nice modern interface. And they've also included a LED flashlight, which is great to use in low light situations. As far as what's included, you can see a nice basic cardboard packaging. You have a super thick manual, which is kind of crazy to see. You can see it's in every single language, which talks to Trek's kind of worldwide reach, so this will be offered around the world. You have a really nice storage bag with the Trek branding, with a zipper, and that actually has all the accessories inside it. So you can see a little mesh pocket. We have a hose extender. We have 2 adapters, one for Presto and one for Schrader, and you can see the outsides are color coded. We also have a USB Type-C charging cable, as well as a ball attachment if you want to inflate inflatable balls. And then you can see this is just a nice little bag here with the lanyard in here as well. So for additional safety, you can put that on there, makes it easier to hold. The pump itself is in this nice little paper cover, prevent it from getting scratched. You also have a little plastic cover on the screen. And then the pump itself. Now let's take a look at the weight of the pump. So the pump, along with the Presta attachment, that comes in at 138 grams. And then the hose, which is a nice little extension, that is 14 grams. Visually, the Trek Air Rush has a compact rectangular profile with these nice rounded corners that feels ergonomic to hold. Dimensionally, it's only 45 by 80 by 32 millimeters, so still quite small. Fits in your pocket, something you can throw in your jersey pocket or put in your saddlebag. Unlike a lot of other mini pumps that have a metal outer body that gets really hot, this one's actually plastic, so if you look closely, it's all just a plastic construction. Really nice venting, so the front and back have these big vents that let you see the motor and let air go through, and that means you don't actually need a silicone cover, which is why they don't include it. You just have a storage bag to put it somewhere without getting scratched, but you don't need additional bulky covers, which is a nice feature. They also have this overmold design on this section, so you can see it's a kind of soft rubber with a little texture to it, and again, makes it really nice and easy to grab. With this pump, they've decided to put the screen and buttons on the side rather than the back side. And then on the front, you have the standard location for the nozzle. What's also cool is on the bottom, you have another threaded insert, and that's just for storage. So you could store one of these on the side while you're using the other one. That's a nice way to just keep track of everything. You can see as far as the other side, you just have the vent. Big vent here. You also have a LED, so it's kind of cool. You have a little flashlight feature. So if you're working somewhere with low light, you can just press that button and you have a dedicated button to turn the flashlight on and off. On the top, you have this big cover with the lightning symbol, and that's a very small USB-C port right there on the top. But overall, nice design, basic branding with Trek. And when you turn it on and off, you'll see the screen also has the Trek logo, which is a cool feature. As far as the light, it only turns on when the pump is on, so you can see if I hit this, nothing happens. And it also automatically turns on when you're inflating, which is kind of a cool feature. So you can see if I turn this on, that LED automatically turns on, and then I could toggle it on and off as well. Nozzle-wise, really basic thread-on design, no smart head or automatic detection. You have to use the right one, and you can see there's 2, they're color-coded. Big rubber gasket, it's really easy to identify. This is the Schrader with that little plastic center. And then this pass-through is the Presta. You simply thread it on directly onto the pump, and you can just put that onto your valve. If you have a TPU valve, you generally want to use the extension. So you can see a nice extension. This rotates and is quite flexible, so a few inches long. You thread on the adapter you want on one side, and then you can thread this on directly to the pump, and that lets you access, easier access if you have a smaller wheel or a lot of spokes. So definitely adds to the size, but you can definitely bring this separately and then just attach it when you need it. But you can see nice and flexible, and also lets you rotate, as this is an articulating design. So I can hold this steady and then move this around. As far as the user interface, pretty simple. So big screen, 3 buttons, nice Trek logo when you power on. It is a color screen. You basically have the white, black, and then green. That is the target pressure, current pressure, battery status. If you turn on the flashlight, you'll get a little logo there with the light. You can see big buttons too, so even if you're wearing gloves, it's very easy to differentiate them. You have plus and minus, so pressing it will do it up or down. Holding it will do it faster. So if you want to get up to 110, you can just hold it and do it very quickly. If you want to change the units, you just hold the play and plus buttons together. You can see now I'm in bar, hold it again, kilopascal, hold it again, back to PSI. Again, separate LED buttons, so you don't have any weird combinations like we've seen with other pumps. And again, really nice ergonomic design. The screen here is on the side rather than being on the front or the back side, but I'm not sure whether that's bad or good. It's kind of a standard design. Some of them put it here, some of them put it there. With this one, when you want to use it, you just want to use at an angle or use a hose so you can rotate it and see the screen. When you're pumping, this will update until you hit the target, and then the whole thing will flash green. And you can see fairly loud, but it's not too obnoxious with all these vents and decent sized battery. The bag is also a nice feature, so you can store it in the bag and it won't get all scratched up. Here you can see the Trek pump in action. You get a nice Trek logo on startup and a crisp screen that shows you the target pressure in green, current battery status, and the current pressure. With the press to valve, you simply slide the adapter right over your valve and then you can start inflating. It's a little bit loud, but not louder than the other ones on the market, but very well insulated. You don't have a ton of vibrations like you get with some of the other ones, and it stays cooler as well. You can see our inflation speed is not too bad. This is a 700 by 28 tire, so it's on par with the other ones, but takes a little bit of time. The nice thing about this battery design is you can get about 3 or 4 depending on what the tire size is. So 3 to 4 tires from and flat, and more likely you're going to be using this for just kind of topping up, then you can really use it for a long time. And the nice thing about this, you can see it goes green once you hit the target pressure. If you use a little infrared gun here, you can see the temperatures are not bad, so it's around 70 or 60s, and then if you hit it right at the little vents, you can see internally the temperature is quite a bit hotter, so 90s, 100, but it's very well insulated, so you don't feel that on the outside, even without a silicone case. So that's a nice feature here. You have that TPU infused exterior, so nice and grippy and ergonomic to hold. And you can see the big screen makes it very easy to use. If we compare the speed between the Trek and some other pumps on the market, it's competitive, but a little bit on the slower side, so maybe 10 or 20 seconds more. So here we can see CYCPLUS on the left, Topeak on the left middle, COOSPO on the right side, and then the Trek on the far right. You can see they all go from 0 to 70. The CYCPLUS is the fastest, Topeak is next to that, and then this takes a little bit more time. Now let's compare the pump with other pumps on the market. As you can see here, we've reviewed quite a few electric pumps. The most recent one being the Topeak e-booster. You can see the Topeak one is similarly sized. It's a little bit taller and then a little bit wider. So the Trek one is actually smaller. The screen placement is different. And like I said, every brand seems to do it different. This one has on the back side, which I like maybe a little bit more because when you're pumping, you can just look at it, while the Trek one is on the side. So when you're pumping, you either do it from the side or use the hose and kind of rotate it. This also has an extension hose, but you can see much shorter, while the Trek version is longer. What's cool about the Topeak though is they have their smart head. So if you're not using the extension, you just use it directly, you don't need an adapter. So the size without anything attached to it is actually a little bit more narrow than it would be with the Trek with the adapter on. So that's one advantage. You don't need an additional piece unless you're using the extension, which you probably are, so it's kind of a weird design. I like it, but if you're using the extension, this doesn't really matter. User interface is very similar, and if you hear the noise, slightly louder than the Trek, and it just shows you the target pressure when you're adjusting it, and then when you're running, it'll show the pressure so you can't see the target while you're inflating. So a little bit louder. There are also smaller pumps like the Flextail. No screen on this model, so you can see a little bit more compact, but you don't really know what pressure you're getting. You just insert it and go. A little bit different sound, a little bit more muted. CYCPLUS is probably one of the more popular ones here. You can see similar size, slightly smaller. You get the display screen, very small buttons, so you can't really use this with gloves. Full metal body, which again gets hot, so you probably want to use a silicone sleeve. And screen-wise, you can see, again, you just see the target pressure, and when you're running, you just see the current pressure. But a little bit louder, and they also have an even smaller CYCPLUS AS2 with no screen. But with the difference in size, the screen adds a lot of value, so it makes a lot more sense to go with the screen. We also have the COOSPO APB1. This one has the controls on the side, very similar. This has a flashlight, but it's actually not separately controlled. You actually have to do a 2-button press, which I don't even remember what it is right now. I think it's a double tap of the plus, so less obvious. You have to remember what to do, while this one has a dedicated button. So kind of a nice upgrade on the Trek. Gives you that feature, and it's separate, so you don't have to really mess with weird controls. So this one, you can't do a double tap to adjust the pressure, and you can see the screen design is similar. So you have the target and current, but with this one, if you do a double press, it's a unit switch, so you can't really do a fast adjustment, which is one big downside. And as far as the noise, a little bit louder, but they're all kind of loud. Same thread-on design. It's just that the user interface is less friendly with that flashlight and double taps not available. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the AirRush Inflator. What we like about it is it has an insulated plastic body, so it feels more ergonomic, and you don't need the silicone case that most other pumps come with. It also has a bright color screen with the large buttons that are easy to use with gloves on, and even a dedicated button for the flashlight. Also has clever details like an adapter storage slot, so you can store the other adapter on the bottom of the pump for easy storage. The only negative we found is that there's no quick battery status check with the pump off. You actually have to power it on and then see the indicator. It would have been nice if there was a way to quickly check it without powering it on like the Trek carback. Taking everything into account, we give the AirRush a 9.6 out of 10. It's a competitive tire inflator with some nice ergonomic improvements. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at sweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at The Sweet Cyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.